there was some interesting things that did happen in the past week, and let me start off with Nintendo news. It actually is a follow up to last week's story. Let me first get the footage here. Just here in a second.
Oh, it'll be a why you're wrong. I forgot to tell you.
Oh yeah, sure. No, I'll fix that.
Okay.
Okay, so this comes out of Gamasuchu.com, written by Sal Romano. Nintendo, no plans to announce new hardware at E3 2019. Nintendo has no plans to announce new hardware at E3 2019, which runs from June 11th to the 13th at the Los Angeles Convention Center. Nintendo President and CEO Shuhara Fukuda said during the company's financial results briefing today. He added that he has nothing to announce on potential new hardware, but that Nintendo is always developing hardware internally. Various reports have surfaced recently regarding Nintendo's plans for future Switch models, whatever the truth to those reports may be, but it seems that we will not hear about it at E3 2019. So, there will be no announcement for new hardware for this E3 from Nintendo, as we led to believe. There's still well, I mean, not by E3. Part of me also being a cynic, so it's like, well, technically they could announce it like before or after E3, and then it will still come on the same day as Mario Maker 2. Put that technicality in there. But with that being said, if they're not going to do it with Mario Maker 2, which you and I believe that it would be a perfect time to do so, to not only introduce a new hardware but coincide with a game that a lot of people are excited about. Where do you think in a time window do you think they're going to release it? Are they going to release it for Pokemon when that comes out in November, or?
I mean, it'd have to be one of their big titles, so probably Pokemon. But I mean, there's a bunch of others that it could potentially be for. It's kind of hard to say at the moment, just because there is no definitive idea for when. I'm trying to think of other games. I mean, we know that a Metroid Prime isn't coming out for a hot fucking minute because they completely scrapped everything and started from scratch.
Right. I'm trying to think. Like, they have Bayonetta 3 that's in the works. I think that game's gonna be, that date will be announced, I think, this year. Like, I feel pretty confident saying that.
It's gonna have to be a game that has a lot of content. Like, it's gonna be a big hardware game, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when they're gonna do it, and I just can't think of what that could be for.
Right.
We're not getting a new Zelda. We're not getting a new Mario anytime fucking soon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I don't know.
I think the default place to go to would be Nintendo. I mean, not Nintendo, but Pokemon. I think
that was like when we're talking about it.
Yeah, because
it might be, but it's hard to say because the visuals in that game don't look that extravagant.
And I don't think they need
not any more than Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Right, and they don't need to be. Also as a tie-in to Pokemon, Go, and how they've integrated that into the new Pokemon games, being that the as reports are saying that the new Nintendo Switch, the lighter version will be on the go more so than before. I think it would make perfect sense for Pokemon, and having able to walk around and say you want to capture same idea as Pokemon Go, but like now in your handheld for Nintendo Switch. And you're right. Like as far as like any other big titles I can think of that would center around the hardware, I don't think we have anything, at least on the books. I think that ha 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 ha. I think that yeah, like Nintendo outside of first party titles don't have many to really center around when to release it, or they're just gonna do it on its own.
I mean, there's also the big aspect of like they might just do it on their own because that's kind of how they've always done it in the past. In my impression,
I just realized something. Every time they release a portable system or a new version of the system, what time do they usually do it on prior past?
Like October.
No, spring. The 3DS came out in the springtime when that came out, as its predecessors for the previous Game Boy's iterations.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't say every time because um, they've released other things in the proper like before Christmas. Now, don't get me wrong, the spring one it makes sense too because that's when everyone gets their taxes. So that's when they can buy the system or whatever. So it could be spring, it could be fall, like the end of fall, right before winter. I'm saying either one of those really. I mean, you might be right. It might be more spring than fall, but like I don't know. There's just nothing to me that screams exactly when they're going to. That's
Yeah,
the problem.
yeah, and it's hard to say right now. It maybe they are gonna release it if it's this year. Maybe they release it around a game that maybe it's a new IP. Maybe they're gonna
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
or maybe I just had this thought. What if I don't think it's coming out this year, but stay with me on this one. What if they released the new Switch, the portable version, with Animal Crossing?
Well, hold on. Time out. Time out. Let's roll it back a little bit. Like you might be right, but on the other hand, you keep saying the portable Switch.
I
It's
mean,
already
I mean, it's already portable. I know, but like from reports saying it's a lighter version of the Switch. They're taking out the rumble. They're making it smaller. You're making it cheaper and more sleek. And they're also making a more hardcore version of that Switch for more dedicated players or avid
okay.
players.
I'm gonna say this. Maybe a lighter version.
Right.
Like so let's say that instead of portable because I think that kind of is a misnomer.
Yeah, because it's already portable as it is. I was trying to find the right word to describe it.
That's fine. That's fine. You kept saying portable, and I was just like, it already is. Like, what are you talking about? So I think you might be right, but I do think you're correct about a spring situation because I think this E3, this E3, they're gonna announce some shit that is going to blow some people's socks off. But here's the big one. Follow me here. They're going to want people to buy these games in the fall for Christmas, and then come March, they're going to release the new system or systems.
I wouldn't doubt it. I think, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It makes sense.
Because, like, don't get me wrong. We've seen, like, when it comes to Xbox or PlayStation, they have their big console sellers. That's how they do it.
Right.
But we know Nintendo's an enigma. They don't do everything the same way that we do it here. So them selling games in the fall and then selling the new systems in the spring actually like falls in line with how Nintendo does their shit.
Yeah, it does. And they'll release whatever games they've announced at E3 or already scheduled to come out this year. Like they'll probably focus on those for this year and then follow up to next year the new hardware hits. And Nintendo's not hurting for money or anything like that. They've had a pretty successful success when it comes to the Switch, given that they didn't meet their mark. Was it this year or last year? Like they were like 3 million off than what their initial reports were, or prediction of how much they wanted to sell. They're in a really good place, and yeah, it would make total sense in Nintendo's view that yes, focus on the games that are coming out this year with advertising, what have you. But then in the spring, when the new handheld comes out, along with games for that, makes total sense. And they've shown in the past Nintendo has done that before. So, but will they do that? That's the thing, though, with Nintendo. We don't know. They are an enigma. So things that we may think make sense to us and to Nintendo may not happen at all.
What I would like to see is them implement something via their own store where like if you already have a Switch and you want to buy one of the new ones that you can like send them your old one and get some kind of credit for it.
Yeah. It would help. That'd be great. But yeah, we'll see. I think that we'll definitely see more talk about it as the year progresses. And Nintendo in the past, we've seen in previous iterations, have always been the ones to iterate on their handhelds, as we've seen with the DS multiple times. So We'll see as time goes on. All right, moving on to the next subject at hand. All right, this is actually concerning